Hi, this is Katie Simpson. Welcome back to Book Art Summer School. I'm super excited to show you about a couple of different pop-up book styles today. It was really hard for me to pick one type of pop-up book to show you. There are so many different kinds. And I'm going to give you some links too so that you can keep up with this if you want to do some more exploring. There are really a lot of different kinds. We're going to do two pretty basic pop-up styles today. So we're going to start with just a pretty easy pop-up that you can do with a rectangle. And then we're gonna work on something called an explosion book. So there are two different things, so you can do both, and we're gonna do them pretty quickly. I want you to explore different topics with these books for yourself too. So we're just gonna work on the structure of the books and get some ideas, but you can do so many different things with this style of book. I'm gonna show you a couple of examples by artists. This is a pop-up book by Lois Morrison. It's an accordion book and a pop-up book at the same time. So you have so many options and possibilities. This is sort of like the explosion book that we'll be working on today. So she combines some different pop-up techniques together. And Claire Van Vliet also does that. I think this is more like a star book. There's so many different kinds of books. I'm excited. So this has got some of that explosion book technique and some more like other types of pop-up books combined. And this book is interesting because it comes with the CD too. There's like all kinds of different stuff going on with this one. So we're going to work on a couple of different styles of pop-up today, and then you might be able to explore more by yourself. I'm going to show you an example too real quick of a pop-up book from when I was a kid. This is really exciting because it was my favorite when I was a kid. We're gonna work on something that's a little bit like this fold. So the just regular pop-up rectangle that we will make is gonna be a little bit like that. You can also modify it so that it is a little bit more like that too, like a mouth or a beak. And there are so many different kinds of pop-ups. It's really exciting. So I think that you can explore this on your own later on for sure. And we'll work on something that's sort of like this next week too. But let's get started. The books that we're going to work on today will be a little bit like this basic pop-up. And we're going to turn it into something else using different techniques. You can glue on different parts and make these squares and rectangles into different things. And then we're going to use this technique called an explosion book, which opens up. So there are a couple of different options for this too. This is a good option if you're going to do something big on the inside like a drawing that opens up. You also, if you're a little bit older, can cut out the sides. This is a little bit hard and I'll show you why, but so cool. Okay, let's get to work. Okay, I want to show you one of the cool tools of bookbinding. This is called a bone folder. You use this to press down the creases in your book. When you're binding a book, you often want to fold and press down the creases. And we did a lot of this, practicing this the past couple of books too. And we'll do some of this today. But usually in bookbinding, you're going to use something like this. It's a hard surface that is very smooth. You can totally use a popsicle stick. If your hands are clean, that's a pretty good folding tool, but a lot of the time we want to make something super flat and we're going to end up pressing it down and pressing the fold down with some other tool. So that's something cool about bookbinding I wanted to teach you about. A lot of the time we're going to use cutting mats and X-Acto knives or box knives or some other kind of sharp thing, but we're just going to use scissors here, of course. And glue sticks. There's different kinds of glue that you can use with bookbinding too, but we're not going to worry about that. I just wanted to give you a little bit more information. The first thing that we'll work on today is a pop-up of a rectangle. There are lots of different shapes that you can use for this style of pop-up. Here are a couple different examples. We're going to work on a rectangle today. So there's a little heart. This is just made out of scraps of paper. Rectangles. A circle. You can also do two on either side, and it looks like a mouth, which is amazing. But we're going to do this rectangle today, and you can explore the rest on your own. So I'm folding a piece of printer paper in half, and I would normally use a ruler, but I don't have one right now. So I'm going to draw a straight line by tracing the edge of something else. like a popsicle stick. And I'm going to cut about halfway up the paper, no further than half. I don't want this to stick out further than the edge of the book. So I'm going to cut along that. That seems good. I think I drew one of my lines too long. Awesome. And then I'm going to crease this. But again, I'm trying not to go further than the edge of the paper. And also, if I'm going to glue anything to the side of this, I want to make sure that it's not going to stick out at the top of the book. So these are all good things to think about when you're planning. Okay, I creased both sides. And then what I'm going to do is, okay, I'm just making sure that the lines are on the back of the paper. Perfect. I'm going to open this up and I'm going to reverse this fold. This is something that we worked on a little bit in the last class when we did that single sheet book. We reversed some of the creases. So we're doing that again today. So this will pop open like this. Next thing I'm going to do is get a piece of construction paper. Whatever color you have, you need a full sheet. And then I'm going to fold this in half. And use a tool to crease it if I have a tool. Open it back up. And then we're going to set this inside of there and glue it too. So if you notice today, I have paper on my table because I always get glue on my table. So I wanted to prevent that and not have to wash my table so much. So here we go. Easy. So the next thing I'm going to do is get as much glue as I can just around the edges. That's fine. You can do it in the middle too, of course. But here we go. And then I'm going to make sure all those, sometimes the glue stick has little chunks. Just blend those in. Then I'm going to get my construction paper. Open that up and line that edge of the printer paper and the construction paper up on the inside folds. Carefully as I can, and I'm pressing down here. And then I'm going to be more careful this time because I don't want to get glue on the inside of my book and glue it together. So just, you know, if you work carefully, you'll be fine. Carefully and slowly. I feel like there's some gross glue there. It's dried. There you go. Because I would have seen that because it's kind of chunky. Would have seen the bump. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to close this up. And then I'm going to do something that we're going to do a lot in book arts. We'll practice this a little bit later in a couple different classes. We're going to for sure press something. So I'm going to get a heavy book and put this underneath a heavy book. So I'll put this book about books on top of it, and I'm going to put it off to the side over here. Okay, I'll leave that to press for a little while, and we'll talk about the sample that once we open this up, it'll look a little bit like this. The one that we made, the rectangle was over to the side. So you've got a lot of choices. What would you do with this? Totally up to you. Of course, you can copy my example if you'd like to, but I just glued pieces of paper that I'd cut out in roof shapes, and then I made these into little houses. So let's practice making one house here with this sample. So I'm also making sure that because this doesn't go very much further than the edge of the book, I don't want to make my roof very big for this one. So I'm going to be very careful and cut out. Ooh, I have a little piece of brown construction paper, so I'm going to use that. And I'm not going to make a very big roof. I think I'll draw it first. It's like less than an inch tall, so maybe like that. And then let's see, what else would I want to put in here? Maybe I'll do like a path or something. So I can use all these for a collage. And I might glue this on later on too. Use all these pieces of leftover paper for sure. So I'll cut those out later actually and do the roof just real fast so you can see that. So I'm going to glue this edge just a little bit along the side, and we're going to practice some of this next week too. We're going to do a book that has a little bit of this sort of like, you just have to put a little bit of glue on the side and attach this. Attach this over here like that. Cool. And so, oh good, it doesn't go very much. It almost goes to the edge though. So you do have to be careful. So cool, that looks amazing. So I'm gonna make some more details on here and figure out what I want it to be. That's totally up to me. So if you wanted to do different shapes and color them in with scrap paper, that would be great. This is what I did with this one. And I just decided I wanted to have houses that connected like in a neighborhood. And so I called this book Neighborhood. But it's up to you. Okay, let's work on the next book. The next book we'll make is an explosion book, which folds up inside and then opens. So it doesn't have to be an explosion. Mine's bubbles, my example. So got some folding to do for sure. And you can do whatever you want on the inside of this, you know. Think about being flexible and using growth mindset stuff when we're doing this too, because it's a little bit hard. So just be patient and kind to yourself. We're going to end up with something like this pretty soon. So I'm going to show you in advance so you know what to expect. Just get a piece of plain printer paper and we're going to fold it like we're just going to make a square out of it. You may have done this before to make origami paper or something. We're going to take this line and line it up with this line. So you are getting a piece that looks like this, and then we're going to cut this strip off right here. So let me find my scissors. All right, so I'm going to cut along this line here carefully as I can, trying not to cut off any of that other edge. And then I've got a square. After I have this square, I'm going to fold this again so I have creases on the other side that look the same as this crease. Okay, do you see what I have? This paper is folded in quarters, so I have 4 folds. The next thing I'm going to do is flatten it out and fold it in half so you have a rectangle. Open that up and turn it to the side and do that again. We've got a rectangle again. So now your paper is folded as 8 slices, like a pizza. So let's try to, maybe we'll think about a pizza. I don't know. So this is the time when you would draw. This is completely up to you, and I want you to pause this video and draw for a little while, okay? When you're at this point. So pause the video and draw. I'm just really quickly doing this. I'm not going to color mine in. I want to show you how to do the structure of the book, which takes a long time, so this part is up to you. Okay, got my pizza. Great. So the next thing I'm going to do is fold it in half again. And I'm going to hold here and reverse this fold. We did this a bunch of times when we did that single page book. Well, not a bunch of times, but we did it a couple of times and we didn't really talk about it. We just talked about being careful when you're refolding But a lot of the time when you're making books, you're going to reverse folds, or when you're doing origami also. So I have something that looks like a V or a triangle or a funnel. Kind of looks like this from the open side. The next thing I'm going to do, actually this, if you have like a square or kind of a diamond shape, just unfold it and refold it, okay? Because you're almost there and your creases are all in the right places. It's just really easy to fold it wrong for this first part. So, okay, for that first part. And then the next thing that you're going to do is line up this point with the middle line right here, okay? So line that up and you're going to crease here. You're going to do that with all of these points. So this is, the top of this point is open. And they're all lining up to the middle. So the next thing that I'm going to do is open these creases up and fold back on them so they're kind of sticking out again in the triangle shape. This is really important because we're going to do some fold reversing again with these corners, but we want them to be creased a little bit so to make that easier for ourselves. Okay, next step is that you're going to pinch right here and press down on, you see this square sort of? You're pushing down on the middle and we're reversing that crease right there. So reverse that crease, press down. And we're doing that on all of the corners. This is hard. Work slowly and you'll do a great job. If you go fast, it's really easy to fold it wrong. Or like accidentally get an extra fold in there. So just be patient and kind to yourself. So fold back here. Here we go. Excellent. Just one more. Remember to pause if you need to catch up or rewind also. There we go. So now we have a folded up piece like this. And so I'm going to get a piece of construction paper and fold it in half and cut it in half. So I've got a half piece of construction paper. So I'll just try that. And we did this before. We did this recently and we'll do it again. So you might save those extra construction paper pieces from before. I used my extra piece from the accordion book to make this example for you. So, super cool. Okay, so I'm going to cut this in half just along that crease. Be careful. There you go. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is, let's see, okay, fold that in half, crease that. If you've got a tool, that's great. Mine is a little bit funny. I did too quick of a job, so that's okay. And then I am going to glue this in to the book here. So it'll end up glued in like this. And so we're getting glue all along these sides here. So if you are in 5th grade, you might want to cut around the sides of your shape. You could also, whatever grade you're in, glue some springs on and do little shapes and doodads and stuff. That's real fun. But that's for later. If you wanted to cut this out, it is harder. And there are going to be some funny problems with that. So I'm just going to show you how to do this. But what you would do is just cut around that whole shape. But we'll worry about that later. Okay. So that's just if you want to. You've got that choice. We're going to glue on one of the sides. Kind of looks like a house shape, huh? All right. And then I'm going to put this into my construction paper with the corner lined up in the middle. And then I'm going to be more careful this time because I don't want to get glue inside my book. And glue along here. And then I'm going to close my glue stick up and close that up. And I'm going to put it under a book to press for like an hour or something. So let's look at these books again so you can see the kind of construction of it. You see these corners are hard when you cut them out. If it's really tiny, the fold is a little bit harder, but you know, of course, try it if you want to. But this is what yours will end up looking like. We'll look at it in a sec. Like that. So let's check out our first example we put under this book. That was under the book the whole time. So we can see that first pop-up that we made. I did kind of a quick job with that. I think it looks fine though. And I can do all kinds of different things with this. This could be, you know, you could do plants growing out of the top of it. It could be a building. It could be a truck. It could be, yeah, if you did like the cab of the truck over here, you know, some wheels, so like an exhaust plume, something like that. Just decorate this however you want to, okay? So I'm just going to take this out too soon from my press. There are special presses that have weight and like levers and different things to, ooh, that looks fun. Cool. To press down books. So we call them book presses. I'm going to call this book a book press. All right. So I hope you have a really good time making your pop-up books. Remember to explore. There are lots of different things you can do. So just have fun, okay? Remember to be kind to yourself and be flexible. And if you need to change something, do it. But really, just have fun.